Speaker, Labor supports the Psychoactive Substances Amendment Bill because it removes the transition provisions from the Psychoactive Substances Act, which in effect will remove all the untested drugs that are currently available on the market from the market, and it also removes the provisions that allow for animal testing of psychoactive substances in any tests that are used to prove that a psychoactive substance is of low or no risk. This improves but does not overturn the original Psychoactive Substances Act. And I want to remind anybody who thinks that passing the Psychoactive Substances Act was a mistake, that before it was passed, we had no regulation over psychoactive substances at all. There was an unknown number of products out there being sold from an unknown number of outlets. When the original Act was passed, we took control. We now know how many products are out there for sale, and more have been removed from the market since the original Act was passed. We now know how many retailers there are out there. We even know who wants to import substances so that they can carry out research on products to perhaps make them one day become approved products. We know a lot more about what's going on in the legal high industry as a result of the passing of the original Act. However, it wasn't enough. It did not satisfy legitimate concerns about untested substances being available on the market, being used by people, particularly young people, without us being fully cognizant of what both the short-term and long-term effects of those products are. The decision to leave products for which there had been no previous complaints made on the market was one made for legitimate reasons by a select committee that was under pressure to deliver on a very, very short deadline to meet the government's requirements. But it turns out, the wrong decision to make, and overturning that decision has been an amazing demonstration of people power. The people who have demonstrated in towns and cities around New Zealand, the people who have lobbied their MPs, and I don't think there's a single electorate MP or list MP probably in this House who hasn't had a very large number of people come and ask that we improve the legislation. Those people have worked tirelessly to ensure that their representatives understand what it is that they wanted to have done. I want to acknowledge in my own community, particularly the people on the Psychoactive Substances Task Force, which is a sort of a self-established group within the city, which I have been a member of. It's involved the police, it has involved concerned parents, it has involved health practitioners, and it was formed ostensibly to make submissions to our local council to make sure that they made the best use of the provisions in the Act to apply a local approved products plan. But also, as time went on, it became a lobbying vehicle, and as a member of it, I found actually spending more of my time being lobbied by the people on the group than talking about what we were going to talk about with the council, and that was fair enough. And I hope that everybody on that group and people around the country know tonight that the politicians have listened, we have responded, and I think we've responded in a way that does what people wanted us to do, which is to get rid of these untested drugs without undermining the original intent of the legislation. And that was a position that it seems that a number of parties arrived at independently. We could all see that this was the smart way forward. And I do want to acknowledge the Minister, Tony Ryle, for his work in ensuring that we did get cross-party consensus on this legislation. Sir, we want to pass this legislation tonight. I find it slightly ironic that we are rushing to fix up a mistake that was caused by rushing the original legislation, but nevertheless, the people want these drugs off the market, and that's what Parliament wants to do. We want to do it tonight, so let's get the job done and do what the people want, sir.
Dr. Paul Hutchison.
Thank you for the opportunity of speaking briefly.